Amber, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Stephanie. It's great to be with you.
Oh, everyone's going to be so excited. You are a highly requested guest. I'm sure a lot of people
Yay.
reach out to you from previous episodes, but you're a wealth of information. And I was thinking about you the other day because my husband and I in the evening will like watch a show, and it doesn't matter what show it is, whether it's Prime Video, like whatever. Every single ad is for a GLP-1. Like literally every ad. I think about all of the people in my life, friends, family, like everyone's been offered a GLP-1. Typically, like you go in for, any type of issue and it's like, boom, we're going to go right to prescribing like Ozempic, for example.
Mhm.
And I'm not trying to, bash anything, but I do want to talk to you about that and get your opinion on it because I think that what's happening is wrong. I
Yeah.
used to work in pharmaceuticals and you're supposed to weigh the benefits with the risks, but I feel like no one's talking about the risks. No one's actually being informed of like what can happen on these. And it's just everyone's being prescribed them. So maybe we
Yeah.
can start with like what is your opinion of it? And should people just go on this right away? Because I know the answer is no, but that's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So my opinion is stay far away from these Ozempic, Wegovy, GLP-1s because they are, I always say you can't mess with nature. And it's just like anything that big pharma is pushing, the celebrities are pushing, all these influencers are pushing. It's a huge red flag because there's so many risks and side effects. But of course, the shiny marketing, the fast weight loss, your appetite, you're not going to be, craving this or want to eat that anymore. It's so shiny and appealing. And because so many people are doing it, and doctors obviously are like, of course I want to give it to people. I make a commission off of it. Like literally no one is going to say no, but you are going to be the one to decide, whether you say no or not. But I'm a huge no too because the side effects and the risks could be incredibly serious. And I've talked to potential clients in consultations, clients in the past that have done this, other colleagues in health and wellness, from chiropractic to naturopathy to doctors who haven't sold their souls on this whole thing, and other people in the health and medical industry that are like, there are serious implications from doing this. And we're starting to see lawsuits. Like 1,000 people just filed a lawsuit because they permanently lost their eyesight from these GLP-1s. Like, sorry, some quick fix weight loss is not worth the risk of losing my eyesight. And my last reason why I don't like GLP-1s is because it's literally another band-aid quick fix. It is literally another reason to, instead of going, oh, I don't love myself, I hate my body, I feel unworthy, I'm binge eating, I'm emotionally eating, I won't love myself until I lose weight. Like it's inhibiting you from doing the deeper work to learn to love yourself, to take your power back, to build your worth, to heal your relationship with food, your body, address the hormone issues, like to really address the roots and go on a healing journey and be equipped to navigate life and live more in your power. That's what GLP-1 is inhibiting you from. And it's also inhibiting you from accessing your intuition and your intuitive gifts and just fully like being an empowered woman or man. And it's robbing you of that. And I know some people say, well, I'm taking it for blood sugar. Well, so be it. But there's a lot of other things you can do for your blood sugar that will help regulate your blood sugar, even if you're a diabetic, other than just more injections. So that's my like long and short response. And I get it. Like some people really think, oh, it's going to resolve all these things. Or maybe some people are like, wow, it's reduced my inflammation or it's helped with this thing. But I'm like, yeah, but what are the long-term side effects that you haven't experienced? And I don't want to intend that anyone's going to experience any side effects. However, just the things that I'm seeing are really concerning. So I'm happy to talk about, some of the side effects, but also the fact that we produce GLP-1 ourselves. And if we want to improve the function of it, learning about what throws it off and messes it up and how do we bring it back into balance, I think is a conversation that the mainstream in the world should be having instead.
Okay, so I didn't even know that we produce it. But so if we produce it, but then we start taking something like a GLP-1, is that going to cause our body to like stop producing it because we're getting it in another way?
I mean, yeah, so sometimes with certain things, like the body will your body's very intelligent. Your body's always trying to get back to homeostasis. So there's certain things like I'll give you an example and then I'll answer your question. So say you have gut issues or you've been overeating or emotionally eating, and your pancreas, which is responsible for producing your enzymes, gets depleted because you're having to produce so many digestive enzymes to break your food down that your pancreas is like, I can't keep up. Like you're overeating all the time and I'm depleted. And so then you go on a digestive enzyme. Okay, but these digestive enzymes are derived from natural things, bromelain from and pineapple or bromelain and papain from pineapple and papaya. Like things that come from nature, not things that are made in a lab. And so you take that digestive enzyme, it takes the weight off of your pancreas from having to produce all these enzymes. It allows your digestion to improve, less bloating, you break your food down more efficiently. And then your pancreas actually can replenish those enzymes. So your question of does GLP-1 get suppressed if we take it? I think that there is a level of that 100% happens because when you take it, it's suppressing your body's natural hunger signal. It's suppressing your ability to feel. And so unfortunately what ends up happening is when people go on it and come off of it, they end up having huge waves of hunger, huge emotional responses. Some people end up binge eating or emotionally eating. Now, of course, your body is not going to fully necessarily shut down and not produce any of it, but it may be a suppressed experience because not only is it suppressed GLP-1, but it's suppressed all these other, like suppressed your thyroid function, caused other hormone issues, suppressed your body's ability to produce ghrelin, which makes you hungry, and leptin, which makes you full. So it skews so many things that then you have to go in and not just try and wake up your GLP-1, you've got to fix your thyroid, you've got to heal adrenal fatigue, you've got to wake your hunger signal back up, or now heal your binge eating because all your triggers are hitting you in the face because now everything isn't suppressed again. So that's kind of my response to that.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that because I heard the other day it was on another podcast and they were talking about how it suppresses your desire to eat.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it also suppresses just like your desire. So now you don't want to do
Yeah.
anything. And that is so similar to my story of when I was on the antidepressant and I
Yeah.
felt like a zombie. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling anxiety. I wasn't feeling anything. Like I was
Yeah.
just like a zombie, and that is no way to live. And you don't want to suppress your desire for like just life in general and everything around you, just,
Yeah.
to lose weight, for example.
But I think that's the problem is like society, especially women, have been so conditioned to feel so unworthy, so much self-loathing and so much self-hatred or insecurity around their body that they've been manipulated into such a state of desperation that women are literally willing to risk all of these serious side effects to lose weight because they think they'll finally be happy. But the weight loss doesn't make you happy. The last thing that I ever think when I'm in a difficult circumstance or something uncomfortable or something stressful is thank God I've lost the weight and thank God my body looks the way she does. I don't think about that at all. I think about the tools, the emotional resilience, the awareness I have, the support system I have. I'm like, I'm so grateful I've done my deeper work so that I am equipped to navigate X, Y, and Z. But again, the weight loss and diet industry and the pharma industry have done such an incredibly great job at literally picking women apart to be in such a state of insecurity and desperation that they think this is the answer and this is easy. And they've conditioned people to the point where it should be easy. And no, I shouldn't have to do any work. Just take an injection, it'll shut everything off, which is literally like the furthest thing away from nature and the biology of our bodies. And so I think that that's the problem is it's just like women have been picked away at, you know, year by year to get to this point where now they're just so desperate, they're easy to control and manipulate. And this is like being served on a silver platter, right?
Oh,
But that
well,
whole mood thing it's so significant. It's making some women suicidal, depressed, like flatline, feeling nothing. Like you said, that's not normal. We're not supposed to feel that. It's literally just shutting everything off.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know how I feel about like subliminal messaging and
Yeah.
just seeing I am not kidding when I say every single
Yeah.
commercial was advocating for these things, I'm just like, what is this telling our subconscious? If it's everywhere,
Yeah.
it is everywhere.
Yeah.
All the celebrities are talking about it. Like I said, everyone I know has been on it or offered it. So if someone comes to you and they do want to lose weight, I mean, especially I'm
Mhm.
sure you're seeing it now, bikini season,
Yeah.
everyone's feeling self-conscious, getting in a bathing suit, that kind of thing. What would be the first step? Is it hormone testing? Where do you kind of start?
Yeah, so I think it's really around having a conversation around addressing a few key things and asking, okay, how long have you been struggling with weight and weight loss and weight gain? Have you been a chronic dieter? Because if you have, well, then I know your metabolism's probably been quite suppressed from all the restriction, under eating, calorie deficit, things like that. And also, depending on the kind of diets you've done, a lot of them with the packaged foods have a lot of soy and GMOs and ultra processed ingredients because they don't teach you how to read labels and look at the quality of the food. They're just like, buy this package of food and lose 30 pounds in 30 days. And again, the marketing is very deceiving. And so the quality of those food products could really have messed up your gut, your hormones be causing a lot of inflammation, which in turn will cause weight gain. So we need to look at that. And then I like to talk about your relationship with food. Are you an emotional eater? Do you binge eat? Do you have a food addiction? Are you binging and purging? Because your weight is a protective mechanism. Your body hangs on to weight because she doesn't feel safe. And so, what we have to understand is what are you innocently doing that you've been taught or programmed to do by all this messaging in society and your familiar upbringing that has conditioned you to behave this way with your body, with food, the way that you feel about yourself. And then, yes, 100% hormone testing is going to be part of every single woman that I work with because after almost 13 years of practice and thousands of women and thousands of hormone tests, I've never had any woman from her early 20s to her 80s not have a hormone imbalance. Usually I see several. Most women have two or three, and then I would say a good 30 or 40% have at least four or five, some more depending on the circumstance. And that could be in your 20s. I've had clients in their 20s with five, six, seven hormone imbalances. So you don't have to be menopausal or postmenopausal or in perimenopause to have several hormone imbalances
What
and food addiction.
contributes to that? Is that like our environment? Is it the food we're eating? Like what is causing that? Because that seems crazy in your 20s to have that many
Yeah.
balances.
Yeah, so Ozempic and GLP-1s, okay, they're causing several hormone imbalances. Binge eating, emotional eating, food addiction, bulimia are because they're such destructive behaviors, or whether you have been an alcoholic, done drugs, like any form of self-sabotage, addicting behavior. I think screens and all the stimulation from technology is really an epidemic these days because it spikes cortisol. Diets and restriction and overexercise really does a number on our nervous system. People pleasing perfection and proving behaviors where you're last on your list and you feel guilty prioritizing yourself or because so many people tie their worth up with how much they do and that being a big part of their identity and success, they're on the back burner and that leads to burnout, nervous system dysregulation, and exhaustion. The food, 100%. So the food we're eating, the water we're drinking, things that are being, sprayed in the sky and the chemicals in our skincare, body care, clothing. I just saw Lululemon is being sued and put in for a huge lawsuit for over 1,500 plus chemicals that are in their leggings. Yeah, it's one of the most toxic
Wow.
clothing.
Oh, I
So
wear
bad.
leggings all the time.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
Lululemon, but still, they're probably all toxic.
Yeah, yeah. And I know they feel like butter, but I'm telling you, like, oh my goodness, it's so bad for women and estrogen dominance and stressing out the liver. And so what we're wearing, what we're putting on our skin, what we're consuming and ingesting via food and drink. And then maybe you eat really healthy, actually. Maybe you live a pretty healthy lifestyle. But if you are in constant negative self-talk, self-criticism, and you are constantly picking yourself apart, that is enough to throw off your hormones and put you into several hormone issues. And if you're constantly trying to lose and gain weight. So those are some of the reasons why I see women dealing with so many hormone imbalances.
See that negative self-talk, it physically
Yep.
manifests in the body.
Yep.
It's not woo-woo, like it's actually
No.
doing that. So I'm sure there's like the typical panel that you get when you go to just a regular physician.
Yeah.
Is that enough? What do
No.
you like what should people be asking for
Yeah.
when getting
So unless you have an incredible doctor that's going to order the 50 plus tests, you're not going to get because normally what a doctor, like say you go for your physical and you're like, oh, time to get my yearly blood work. And say, you say, hey, can you test my hormones as well? They're like, oh yeah, eye roll. And they'll do a metabolic panel, which will include like your cholesterol reads, like your triglycerides, cholesterol, LDL, lipid panel, that whole thing. It'll test your liver and gallbladder function, your electrolytes, your complete blood count. That's very standard. And then sometimes they'll throw an iron and ferritin test on there. And ferritin is your kind of store of iron, and then iron is the available that oxygenates your blood. In Canada, they don't test vitamin D anymore. I know they do in the States, but you have to pay to get your vitamin D tested here because they just assume everyone has low vitamin D, but that's not the case. But that should be on routine testing. And then maybe your TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormones. So that's like one hormone read out of like 10. So unless you take a list and demand it and look at the requisition and confirm that all the tests are on the result on the requisition, likely be more open to go to an alternative healthcare practitioner, and you might have to pay out of your pocket. And we need to normalize investing in our health. People normalize it buying an $1,800 phone every 6 months and $1,000 a month Starbucks habit. We need to normalize being willing to spend, five, six, 700, $1,000 on a really thorough, comprehensive panel and getting it thoroughly reviewed with us. Because the other problem with doctors is they'll order labs and literally like give you the copy and be like, yeah, everything's fine. It's your hormones are
Mhm.
fine. It's in your head. It's not that, blah, blah, blah. It's just stress. Oh, it's your age. Once you're 40, blah, blah, blah. And it's such BS. It's such
Yeah.
BS. And so then you're like, okay, well, now what? Because they're saying everything's normal. And that's a lie because the ranges on tests are too big. There's a much smaller functional range that's actually optimal and normal. And maybe if you're open, we can do like another episode where maybe I get you to get some labs in and we could literally like go
Mhm.
through them if you want. And I can like share with you what I see and what it means and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
No, we
like the
should do it.
functional is
And
much smaller.
I want to mention this too because a friend of mine went to get her labs done through like a holistic NP, and she has insurance. This is insane. This is why I hate insurance. I want to get rid of our
Yeah,
insurance. She has good insurance, but to get all of those labs, it was going to be like $1,500. But if they
mm,
ran her as a cash paying patient, it was like 500 or something. Like it
it's
was
ridiculous.
substantially different. So for everyone listening, like try that. Run it as have them run it as a cash paying patient, and there's usually a huge discount versus what you would pay
Yeah.
with insurance, which is just it's criminal.
Yeah, they're totally gouging you because I can tell you because I purchase testing from a lot of different labs and I don't mark up my lab testing. I just include it in all my programs and I charge the cost of it. Albeit the fees go up a little bit for them, but when I'm ordering this full comprehensive panel which has 50 plus tests, it's about I'm going to say 500 USD. And this I'm talking like your full thyroid panel, the
Mhm.
metabolic panel I just mentioned, morning cortisol, DHEA, free testosterone, total testosterone, estradiol, progesterone, inflammatory markers, magnesium, vitamin D, C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker, B12. Like there's so many other things that we want to test as well. And then obviously if we get those back and there's any further testing we can do, we can investigate that. But yeah, honestly, if you're going somewhere and they're charging you $1,500 just for labs, you're getting gouged unless they're doing like a gut test and like hormone tests and they're doing like five or six different labs. $1,500 in my opinion is reasonable for labs plus going through like an hour appointment and maybe a follow-up because I know for me when I get my client labs back I'm spending 1 to 2 hours going through them before I even get on the call with them to review, prepare so that I can explain to them what's going on, have prepared their protocol and set them up for success rather than just rolling in being like, yep, your cortisol's high, your thyroid's off, your estrogen's low, here's the supplements to take, like, see you later. Like, no, I want to equip my clients and help them understand what's going on in their body, what the numbers mean in correlation with their symptoms, how their habits and behaviors and their gut health and blood sugar are, tying into all of this. And then what steps do we take? And I think that's the other miss is practitioners are not spending enough time actually thoroughly reviewing the results. And then that sets your client up for failure because then they have the big bag of supplements, the big stack of papers, and they're like, They go home and then they're like, a month later, it's not working. And it's because no one's talking to you about how not only do we need to address your hormone issues, but we need to address your self abandonment issues, your self worth issues, your people pleasing, your binge eating, your chronic weight loss and weight gain behaviors, like your self talk. Those things need to be addressed to regulate your nervous system and help your hormones balance, along with good nutrition, supplementation, sleep, hydration, like basic needs stuff, right? And so if that's not addressed, you'll be blowing a lot of money and not getting a lot of results.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize too, or at least I didn't for a long time, that hormone imbalances, it's not just it can cause you to gain weight, for example. It can
Yeah,
affect
no.
like your mood, your
Oh, yeah.
motivation, your energy. And I think I mean, I know I see a lot of women that just think like, I'm just not motivated. I'm just lazy. I'm just not good enough. And you
Uh,
blame yourself when really like there is something going on that
yeah,
can be fixed that will make you feel
exactly.
better and boost your mood and like change all of those things.
Yeah, make you feel like yourself again. I just created a reel and I was like, if you all of a sudden feel like you're falling out of love with your husband or your partner, like, and your relationship's actually good, don't just make an abrupt like decision to leave because it could actually be low progesterone. Because to your point, your hormones literally dictate your mood and how you feel and how you do or don't show up in your life. So if you are feeling apathetic, indifferent, flatlined, you are feeling kind of numb, or yeah, how come I don't feel connected to my husband right now? I don't feel connected to my spouse. Like maybe the flame has been snuffed out, right? And you're debating maybe leaving or making a rash decision. It's like, please don't do that. Get your hormones tested first because if progesterone is low, we'll use that as the example. That's one of your main sex hormones, ladies. And if it's low, progesterone helps you feel safe and calm and it helps regulate the nervous system. And we also need enough progesterone to help circulate oxytocin in the body. And oxytocin is the connection neurotransmitter. So if you have low progesterone, you're more likely to have low oxytocin and you feel disconnected not only from yourself, God, source, universe, your career, your business, your kids, your husband, you just feel disconnected from everything. And that includes potentially the spark you may have with your husband. And obviously, like men don't produce progesterone, so it's not going to look the same for them. And obviously, it's important for men to get their hormones tested too, because if their testosterone's low, they could kind of have the same experience. But it's just like that will lower your motivation. Low progesterone will make you want to people please. And like, oh my God, being in kind of the state of paranoia, did I upset anybody? Like I'm gonna suck up and like kind of put on a mask and just morph who I am because I don't want to let anyone down. Like these are the kinds of things that low progesterone will do. And you're right, like instead of just thinking that it's you and you're lazy or there's something wrong with you, because it feels really weird when you have low progesterone and you feel nothing. It's for some women, it may be feeling more depressive, but when I went through it last year, I just literally felt nothing. Like so many good things, great relationship, business is thriving, and I'm just like, meh. Like I literally felt nothing. And I'm like, this is wrong. I shouldn't feel this. What's wrong with me? Like it's interesting the narratives that we start to have in our mind. And then I'm like, wait, I've had a history of low progesterone no matter what I've tried. Like it just doesn't want to come up. And I treat my body very well and I do so many good things for my body. But ever since I healed binge eating in my late 20s, like it came back up for a bit. But then we had a lot of noisy neighbors and broken sleep for quite a few years. And that really did a number on it. I hit perimenopause a couple years ago. And that's when progesterone can be harder to keep at optimal levels. And so last year, when I was really delving into like, why am I feeling like this? What is going on? And I delved even deeper into the progesterone research to what I already knew and started learning more about the specific neurotransmitters like the oxytocin. And it blew my mind. And I was like, this is not being talked about. This is what so many women are dealing with. And then I started to take the steps to not only deal with those emotional pieces with things like Bach flower remedies and saffron, which boosts your serotonin. Also, when you have low progesterone, you have a likelihood of lower dopamine, serotonin, and GABA. Serotonin makes you feel content, happy, joy. Dopamine is the reward neurotransmitter. So, a lot of women who have low progesterone are more prone to compulsive behaviors like emotional eating. You crave more sugar, you have trouble falling asleep, more sleep apnea where you're awake for 3 or 4 hours in the night when your progesterone's low. So it just wrecks you like on all
Like a
levels.
domino
And
effect.
you don't
Yeah.
even realize it. So I went on some saffron and then like within a week, I went from feeling like nothing to like connected. And like, I obviously knew there was nothing wrong in my relationship intuitively. I'm like, there's something within me that I need to shift. There's nothing wrong here. And I'm just like, thank God, like someone would make some like irrational decisions and like completely regret them, realizing, oh my God, it had nothing to do with anything in my external life and it was my hormones. But I
Hmm.
just share this and this is just one example of like how low progesterone in one way could be impacting you, let alone if you have low progesterone, low estrogen, or high estrogen, and high cortisol, and a thyroid issue, and low DHEA, low testosterone, high testosterone, inflammatory markers, blood sugar issues. Like
Yeah.
it's significant and it's so multifaceted and complex, but it's not being properly addressed, and women are not being properly supported with their hormones.
Well, I
And
love that you have a free quiz to
yeah,
see if you have a hormone imbalance because I took it and I was going through, I'm like looking at the questions and I'm thinking this has to do with hormones because there were things
yeah,
on there that I never would have guessed
yeah,
were related to hormones at all.
I know.
So, and you're going to give me the link for that
Yeah.
that I'll post in the show notes. So anyone that's listening, if you're like, maybe I do have a hormone imbalance. You can take that quiz. It's totally free and it kind of helps pinpoint what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. And the nice thing too is once you take it, you're going to get some nice resources like emails with podcasts and different things to help you learn more about if you have hormone imbalances, what maybe is going on. Is it my cortisol? Is it my thyroid? Because I think hormones, we should be educated on hormones like I'm talking to you in high school and in college. And so now it's our job as women to advocate for ourselves and educate ourselves and find the right resources who can provide us with that information. But yeah, the quiz is a great place to start. And then getting hormone testing done and actually like understanding what's going on in your body in correlation with your symptoms and health history, I think is another important step. If you've never had testing done, women should be getting labs done once a year at least. At least. I don't
Yeah.
care your age, once a year. Once you're in your 20s, start doing them once a year and don't stop. Doesn't matter if you're in postmenopause, you're menopause, you're in your 40s or 50s, 30s, once a year.
Yeah. It gives you so much insight on what's going on in your body, which can be impacting every area of your life without
Yeah.
you even realizing that that's the root cause of it. So if someone is feeling like maybe I want to start focusing on hormone health. Is there like one or two things just in general that people can do to kind of take a proactive approach to hormone health?
Yeah. So even without getting your labs back, I think the key things you can focus on, like, and here's some basic stuff. Make sure you're drinking 2 liters or 68 ounces of water a day. Because if you're dehydrated, your cortisol is going to be high, it's stressing your body out. Ladies, I don't care what your age is, please stop skipping breakfast and fasting. It is one of the worst thing that women can do for your hormones, metabolism, and your blood sugar unless you're taking some form of medication where upon waking you have to wait an hour to eat something small even within 30 to 45 minutes of waking up, and then have breakfast within another, 30 to 60 minutes of that. Obviously, if you want to wake up and eat breakfast right away, please do. But we need to start eating breakfast and stop skipping meals, and ideally breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you need a snack between your meals while you work on balancing things like your blood sugar, please do. And stop demonizing carbohydrates. We need carbohydrates. They help balance cortisol, give you energy. They're your main energy source and your brain's main energy source. But I'm talking carbohydrates from fruits and vegetables, sweet potatoes, yams, beets, carrots. Some women can tolerate some grain like gluten-free oats and rices and quinoa, but some can't. And for some women, eating grain all the time can spike your blood sugar and push you into pre-diabetic type 2. So we just want to be mindful of the balance of what feels good for your body. But carbohydrates, hydration, something small within 30 minutes of waking up, eating breakfast within an hour of waking up. And I think those are things we can all start with. And I think self care, we all need to prioritize nervous system regulation, starting with 10 to 15 minutes a few days a week. And then it builds to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Maybe some days you can spend an hour. Get out into nature, get your feet in the grass. Get up in the morning and drink some water and get out and get some morning light. It doesn't have to be sunny. It's great for your circadian rhythm and bringing your cortisol and blood sugar down. Getting your feet in the grass helps balance your circadian rhythm and start balancing your hormones and reducing inflammation. Like these are things you can do right at home without even having to go anywhere. But the self care, subliminals, your peace activation, your meditate, EFT tapping, breath, a gentle stretch, going for a walk, like things that are slow and going to actually help you go out of fight or flight back into rest and digest.
Yeah, we definitely need more of that. We're so
Yeah.
conditioned to be in this hustle
Yeah.
culture mentality where we're always
Doesn't work.
rushing, and it's just, it wreaks havoc on us in so many
Yeah.
ways. So I second that. Um, so if someone's listening and they want to work with you directly or check out your programs, where can they find you?
Yeah, so the website is amberapproved.ca. I have both a free hormone quiz and emotional eating quiz if you're wondering if you're struggling with either. The podcast is the No Sugar Coating Podcast, and it's available on all podcast apps as well as the website. And then if you want to connect to discuss doing things like hormone testing, maybe you want to course correct some of the stuff post Ozempic, or you want to actually get to the roots of your weight loss blocks or heal emotional eating, whatever we've been talking about today, you can book that 30-minute complimentary consultation via Zoom. And a lot of women say, well, how can you order labs for me? You're in Canada and I'm in the States or in Europe. Well, it doesn't matter. I work with women all over the world, and it's just your location is just going to dictate like what kind of testing we're going to ship to you or requisition to the lab. So no worries. We can totally get you testing access wherever you are.
Amazing. I'm so glad to have you as a resource because, oh man, we
Likewise.
need it now more than ever.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I'll link all of that in the show notes so everyone can find it easily. And thank you for coming on again.
my pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.